the Anuna that were in North America, I think it was at the collapse of the vapor canopy, that they wrote their own simulation. So are we actually in a simulation within a simulation?
Okay, I don't want to mix the two. I'm going to answer them separately. One of them is yes, I believe we're in a simulation within a simulation, but I don't believe it goes ad infinitum. I believe it was done for security reasons, so there wouldn't be cross-pollination, so there wouldn't be a contamination of the actual experiments that were being run. So, but as far as the Anuna coming from North America and doing their own simulations, when I made that reference, I was referring to them as a scientific, very technologically advanced civilization at that time, not what they became later when they had lost their infrastructure and all that. When they were an advanced civilization, they were running their own computer simulations just like we do, just like our government agencies do when they're trying to predict different phenomena and different events. Maybe they were doing it in the same way that this Looking Glass project that I hear a lot about was doing. I don't know, but I don't. When I say that they were running simulations, I meant more like Star Trek holodeck simulations within the context of their civilization. They were running simulations to figure out how to get out of this one. Yeah, I didn't mean that in that one that they were running whole new simulacrums, because I believe a simulacrum is very unique. I believe that there are many simulacrums, but we don't have the ability to build these. These are constructs of something much greater than us. We have great ability to be co-creators inside the simulacrum, because that's what it's designed to. We can interface with the simulacrum and build great things in the personal and the collective. But the actual simulacrum itself, this great neutral field, this holography, there may be tens of thousands of these in existence, and we may be traveling through multiple ones. And I have documented that there's been cross-contamination between simulacrums where things just don't make sense. But as far as the Anuna or humans today building a simulacrum, I don't believe it's possible. These are constructs of the oversoul or the overseers. This isn't something we can do. It's not from within it. Out from within it. On the outside, I believe we can. And you know it's my position that the gods on the outside, the origin of the Anuna, are humans, just 100% humans, just like us. Their avatars might be different to be more conducive to whatever biosphere they're in. But remember my position. My position is that DNA is ancient, it is fantastic, and it is still being studied today. Not by our scientists and not by our biologists. No, they'll never crack DNA. I'm talking about outside the simulacrum. DNA is like holy. It is still being they're still trying to figure it out. And what we've been told about DNA and RNA and the double helix, triple helix deals, it may be all distraction and misinformation. We don't know. Now, one person listening to my voice has ever looked through a microscope and saw a DNA strand. We don't know. So we take a lot of these things on faith. But I believe what makes up the human avatar is so fantastic that these biospheres are necessary to understand its capabilities. And this is where we're at on the outside of the construct. We're trying to find, it might be some huge transgenics project on the outside. I don't know. But we have a lot of evidence on the inside of this simulacrum, all throughout the things that we have found in archaeology, that there's been many different types of human species in this world. And we also know from traditions and from archaeology that there's been several different biospheres that we've lived in. So when you put all this together, it seems like somebody is experimenting. Somebody is basically taking notes and learning from all these things. I don't believe it's anybody inside the construct. I believe it's those on the outside where we came from.
Yeah, so why do you think that we have avatars outside the simulacrum and that we're not just some kind of etheric energies?
Well, I mean, this is kind of realm of opinion, but if I was to base my opinion off of eschatology, well, the focus of eschatology is that we are imperishable husks. We're imperishable bodies. This is the religionist eschatological perspective. We're living in husks. Our biological bodies don't mean anything because the promise is that we're going to receive divine bodies. We're going to eternal life. So, we're going to be given a white robe and through the mystery cults, the cult mystery schools, and even in the book of Revelation, the white robe is emblematic of a new garment. And this is in the Hermetic literature a lot about our garments of light, or our garment. I believe that our whole experience here isn't even anything to worry about. That we're here for the development of an immortal personality, and all these things that we have discovered about history and all that. Listen, it's very easy to manufacture a universe if you just create enough variables. You could throw in all kinds of mysterious stuff. We build virtual reality universes today where people interact with each other with avatars. This is already within the realm of our present technology. Therefore, it's not a stretch of an imagination for me to assume that I'm living in a VR reality now. It's the only thing that would historically make sense from all the anomalies that we've documented. Now, I can't imagine experiencing a physical body right now with my immortal soul jacked into it via the sensitivity of the central nervous system. I'm jacked into this seemingly physical body. Nothing's physical around us, but the central nervous system makes our spirit believe it is. So it's a beautiful construct. It's hyper advanced. So a lot of people just can't even make the cognitive leap. They just can't imagine that everything around us is actually programming. But this programming is so sophisticated, it makes us believe in the very physicality of all this around us. It's the central nervous system. It's a filter. It makes us perceive these things as such. So I'm cool with the fact that I'm living in a seemingly physical body, in a seemingly physical universe that most of the time is very convincing that it's a physical world. Although it does have its moments where it kind of gives us clues that it's not. So I can't imagine it going through this experience and then returning to a pure ethereal spiritual state for which I will never have these experiences again. For what? The development of the immortal soul living in numerous avatars. All these life sims is to develop a personality, to me, to receive a final avatar for which that personality would be able to make great utility of. What I mean is, I am 100% convinced that the white robe scenario of the ancient text, the new garment that's given to us in the future, once we are escaped, remember, he comes to set the captives free. That means we're not free right now. And freedom is a lot more than just our perceived physicality. We're not free in spirit. We're not free in what we can do. We're not free in our ability to travel outside the simulacrum. We are in a contained environment. We are in a world that, according to the construct, was built by an artificial God. Remember, the true God is on the outside. Even in the Christian scriptures, even in the Gnosis, we have an artificial God that is taken over. We have the Demiurge, we have Yaldabaoth, we have Yahweh. Remember, Yahweh comes from a burning bush. He didn't come from heaven. It was a desert demon. This is Yaldabaoth. This is the Demiurge. This is the artificial God over an artificial reality. This is, according to the New Testament Christian records, the God of this world. That's a very heavy statement, because the God of this world is the adversary, not the true oversoul. So enter artificial intelligence X. So I believe that these immortal avatars are already prepared, but not just anyone can inhabit one. You have to earn it. And the opportunity to earn it has come in the fact that you've lived multiple life sims over and over and over and over during the duration of this simulacrum. Now, I've also shown the collapse of the simulacrum. 72 years after the return of the chief cornerstone, who comes to set the captives free. There's a 72-year period where we're basically shown the real way to rule, a real government. Because remember, prophecies are attached to the idea of government. The gold empire, the silver empire, all these different culture, all these different attachments to ancient records, and prophecy is always kingdoms and empires. remember Nebuchadnezzar, the empire of gold, Babylon, then Persia, of Cyrus, Medo-Persia, followed by the Greeks, the Achaeans, Macedonians, the Ptolemies of Egypt. They were all the Greek Empire. Then followed by the Romans, which were the legs of iron, which split in two different areas, which they did. Rome did split in two, Eastern Orthodox and Western Rome, Roman Catholic Church. So we had this idea throughout history that we're also here to learn better ways to govern. This is like a test. This is like a screening school, because the avatar that I believe I'm going to inherit is one that's going to be godlike. It's going to be so powerful that the oversoul has to make sure that the divine personality that's going to inherit that avatar is not only worthy, but trustworthy. And that's different, because remember, there's another series of prophecies we have to take into consideration, that we are going to be divine envoys, divine kings and priests. Not talking about a present world, because that hasn't happened yet. It's talking about one we will inherit. Remember, the creation is not an event. It's not a singularity. The creation is ongoing. And I have to believe that, because if I believe the oversoul is eternal, then there is nothing that the oversoul did in that past that it's not doing today. Therefore, the incessant creation of new worlds and cosmoses necessitates a body politic that understands the oversoul, that is very much kin or a part of the oversoul, and can be trusted by the oversoul to oversee those other simulacrums, to oversee those other areas of its creation. That's what this is all about. This isn't the first simulacrum. It's not going to be the last. The creation could have been a very, 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 very long time ago, because we're talking about things from an eternal perspective. There may not have ever been a beginning. A true eternal being would have never had a start. This is finite thinking caused by the central nervous system's filters. We're not able to process that amount of data. But when we're given an avatar that's not like this flesh and blood one, but one that can remember, we're learning how to build and form fields mentally here. That's just spiritual. You do that spiritually, and then use our avatar to follow through to induce the simulacrum to build for us. Imagine once we've mastered this and we receive an avatar that can do far greater things. Imagine what we'll be like. I believe that I'll be sent to simulacrums in the future to teach future civilizations. You don't even know that Enki, Enoch, Loki, whatever you want to call him, is the same figure, could have been just one of these individuals that was talking about these things in a simulacrum 500,000 years ago. And finally, he received his avatar, his immortal avatar, and was accepted into the family of the oversoul, and was given his own simulacrum. And it happened to be this one. And he came in to set the captives free. Listen, this story, it has too many elements from the ancient world that all fit together like a tapestry when you put it all together. So my own personal, from my amount of research, which I have been doing almost all my adult life, but almost my entire life. Because remember, I've told you guys my childhood. I was raised in libraries. This is what my family did. Although it was puritanical Southern Baptist, but I was still learning at a very young age. And then I went through my rebellious phase. I was on the streets for 2 years, and then I became a criminal. And, it's just, you guys know the story. So my learning didn't begin when I went to prison. It began in my childhood. So I just believe from a lifetime of learning that this is basically the closest approximation to the truth that we can get, that fits all the facts of all the different enigmas from the ancient and modern world, that we are in a construct, but that the end has already been provided for in the beginning. However, we've been convinced there's a struggle, so we engage in it. I don't know how many tangents I entertained answering that question, but I hope you got some value.
Yeah, that's great. I've always